What a time to be a Blues fan. A 2-point win over Geelong last week, a 1-point win over Essendon tonight, a thriller at the G. Brad Johnson, Tom Morris, back-to-back heart-stoppers for Carlton.
How good is that, though? What a victory from the Blues. They were under the pump there in that last quarter. Essendon kicked 4 in a row at the end of the third quarter, started the last quarter so well. In the last 7 or 8 minutes, they got the game back on their terms. They claimed victory, and you're right, it's great growth for that footy club. Well done.
Meanwhile, on the Gold Coast, the Suns have beaten the Dockers by 13 points. Nick Del Santo was in commentary for Fox Footy. He's going to join us shortly. And we'll also relive Port Adelaide. They remain undefeated in 2020, and also a massive win for St Kilda today over Richmond. But let's look at this game. The last minute, beginning with David Cunningham, who had a sensational game, and he had a shot at goal to seal the game for Carlton.
Yeah, he did. And you look at, his performance, 28 disposals was absolutely huge throughout the night. His best game for the Blues.
So let's take it here. What have we got? 56 seconds on the clock. He couldn't seal the game. Wait for the call. And then take it away.
Yeah, that's it. And then the kick out here from Sada. 50-metre penalty is given there.
Eddie Betts wasn't happy with this. He was still arguing after the final siren that this shouldn't
have been a 50. So in the end, they go forward here, the Bombers.
Stay out.
They're able to get it through. As you'll see, it ends up in the hands of Jacob Townsend, who has had an impact for the Bombers over the last couple of years. He goes the barrel, Saad. Saad goes the barrel.
How does he take that mark? Because what are Carlton defenders doing in that situation?
Well, what he did, he ran through it and took it on his chest, Tommy. That's how he took the mark. But
it was way too easy.
No, you're right. But that's the nature of the uncontrolled barrel. It just dropped short. He was in the right place at the right time. I thought he hit it sweet. I thought this was home. And then we get the goal line technology, comes off Liam Jones's head and goes through for a point. And that's it. That is the game for the Blues. What another win. And you're right, the tight wins. It's great growth for their footy club. They've got to win the tight ones.
A goal the other way, they'd be 0-4. But they're 2-2, Carlton. They make and break a season. And
to think that they lost Jack Silvani so early on, Tom.
Yeah, he did. So he went to hospital, actually, after the first quarter when Zach Merritt struck him in what we think is the ribs. It might be the kidney. This incident, look, initially it was innocuous, but if you put it through the MRO matrix, and I must make it clear that this is just the system that we're under, it's clearly intentional. It's to the body. And then it's whether it's low, medium, high or severe. And he missed the rest of the game, so I can't really see it being anything less than medium. Now, medium would be a 1-match suspension for Zach Merritt. Do you think that's justified, Jono?
Yeah, I do now in terms of the injury based from that. The first instance, that first camera, didn't look like much, but then you see it and he does get him flushed. And then Jack Silvani cannot even take that deep breath in when he does sit down on the bench. And that's the telltale sign that something, immediate has happened in that rib area.
And the reason why it's intentional and not careless is because the MRO...
He gets him flushed there.
The MRO considers this a non-football action. It's not a tackle. It's not a bump. I'd imagine that would be intentional. And the medical report's going to be so important.
But he's saying that Merritt would do that ton of times a game.
Yeah.
You're just in around the contest, you go to tackle someone, can't get there, you just throw your arm at them just to let them know you're about. So his intention wasn't to deliberately, break the rib of Silvani. But
you think so? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I agree with that.
It looked like nothing at the time, but the fact that he missed the rest of the game.
It's so outcome-based. If he breaks his ribs, it could be even 2 weeks, which I think a lot of Essendon fans would think is a bit steep, but that's just the system we have in play.